So in Perek Yud Aleph, chapter 11 of the Laws of Kings of Hilchos Melachim, so the Rambam explained what the essence of Mashiach is all about. That his essence is to bring complete fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs down here in this world. And therefore, the continuation in the next chapter, in chapter 12, which speaks about the world in the days of Mashiach, also has the same general theme. That it is not necessary that there be miracles in the days of Mashiach. And we see many prophecies that seem to indicate miracles. And the Rambam brings an example from the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu Yud Aleph, God is Avim Keves, that the wolf will dwell with the lamb. So the Rambam explains it's an allegory, it's a mashal, that the wolf corresponds to the nations of the world who are enemies of the Jewish people, and the lamb is the Jewish people. In the days of Mashiach, we will all live peacefully together. And the enemies of the Jewish people will no longer be enemies, and all the nations will live at peace with each other. And so too, later on, there'll be no more war, and there'll be no more hunger, which are all transformations in the world, but still within the natural order. The issue comes up, however, that there are many, many places where it seems to speak about miracles, and it's not possible to understand them allegorically. We have verses in the prophets that are like that. We have different statements from our sages that are like that. And the main one is the principle which the Rambam counts as the 13th of his 13 principles of faith, Tchias HaMesim. The resurrection of the dead is the 13th principle, right after the 12th, the belief in Mashiach. And that certainly cannot be explained in a natural way. It must be miraculous. So how is it possible for Maimonides to maintain that Mashiach doesn't have to be miracles, and it's not necessary there will be miracles in the world? What could be more miraculous than the resurrection of the dead? The Rebbe therefore explains that there are two stages within Yemei Mashiach. The time period we call Yemei Mashiach includes various stages. There are stages at the beginning of the process of the Messianic redemption, where he has not yet built the Beis HaMikdash and has not yet brought all the Jews back to Eretz Yisrael. And so too, later on, after the days of Mashiach, the first stage of the days of Mashiach, which will there be a natural order to things, as the world is today, there will be a second stage later on. And at that second stage, there will be the resurrection of the dead and the other miracles that it speaks about. In one of his other writings, however, there's a fascinating statement of the Rambam which throws all of this into question. In Igeres Tchias HaMesim, the treatise regarding the resurrection of the dead, Maimonides says this, that I wrote, that the prophecies are all allegorical and there will not be miracles. It's not absolute. It could be there will be miracles. Which this is an astonishing statement. Aside from the fact that in a legal work, where do you ever see that later on the one that wrote it will say, well, maybe yes, maybe no. But over here, it seems essential to the whole idea what Mashiach is all about. It's not just stating a fact. The whole idea that the world as it is can become a place for Torah and mitzvahs to be fulfilled 100%. And one does not need to violate the laws of nature in order to accomplish that, is central to the whole thesis that's being explained by the Rambam. So how can they suddenly say that this, which is the foundation of everything I'm saying, that the whole idea of Mashiach and the transformation of the world will not entail miracles, suddenly says he's not sure? How could he not be sure? And furthermore, what will cause this second stage? If the whole idea from the point of view of Jewish law is that all we need is the fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs in completion, and that's the purpose of the creation of the world, and we have from the beginning of Mishnah Torah to the end all the laws that are an expression of God's will, so then what's going to bring about the second stage? How does this fit into the picture? And this is really the second main point, I think, in the entire Dvar Malchus from all the four sichas. The Rebbe says, "Ba'emek yeser." If we look into it more deeply, we'll understand a whole different dimension of this idea of Shleimus Torah mitzvahs being the essence of what Mashiach is all about. So the Rebbe explains this by first quoting the Gemara in Sanhedrin, that in the whole discussion of Mashiach, there are various verses that give different versions of how it is Mashiach will arrive. A poor person riding on a donkey, or come riding on clouds, in a natural way, in a miraculous way. One place it says, actually in the same verse in Yeshayahu, Be'ita Achishena, the Mashiach will come in an appointed time, and Achishena, but it'll come in a hurry. So which one is it? And the Gemara explains that there are two possible scenarios in which Mashiach could come, dependent on the state of the Jewish people at the time. That if we have a special merit, which the Gemara calls Zochu, we have a special merit. So then the redemption will come earlier, and it'll come away with miracles right away. But even if Leizoch, we do not have that special schus, we don't have the special merit, Mashiach will come anyway. He'll come be'ita, he'll come later, he'll come without miracles. So therefore, Leizoch be'ita, we don't have a special merit, so he'll come anyway, without the miracles. But Zoch is Achishena. If we have a special schus, he'll come in a miraculous way more quickly. And therefore the Rebbe says, the Rambam cannot be sure whether there will be miracles when Mashiach comes or not, because the Rambam doesn't know whether we're going to be then in a state of Zochu or Lei Zochu. If we're in a state of Zochu, there'll be miracles right away. If we're in a state of Lei Zochu, which is what he wrote in Mishnah Torah, that scenario, so then there won't be miracles. The miracles will come at a later date, the second stage, as we said before. Why is it Maimonides chose to describe the situation of Leizochu, that we don't have a special merit? Is it pessimism? It's not pessimism. The Rambam's writing a book of halacha, a book of Jewish law. So he has to write the sure way that for sure things are going to happen. The Rambam cannot write a scenario that only happens if we have a special zchus, a special merit. So therefore, he writes the scenario that even if we don't have this special merit, nevertheless Mashiach comes. There won't be miracles right away, but nevertheless Mashiach comes and we'll have the perfection of Torah mitzvahs. And therefore, in Izigeres Techias HaMesim, in the treatise regarding the resurrection of the dead, the Rambam writes he's not sure. What I wrote in Mishnah Torah is not absolute. It could be there will be miracles. What does he mean by that? So the Rebbe explains. It could be we'll be in a state of Zochu, and if we have this special merit, then there'll be miracles right away. But then the Rebbe asks a deep question. What is the relationship between these two stages? What's going to cause this second stage to happen? And the Rebbe explains, what's this whole idea of Zochu Achishena? That if we have a special merit, then there'll be all of these miracles. What's the functions of the miracles if the whole idea of Mashiach is to transform our world through Torah mitzvahs? And the Rebbe explains, that's Hashem showing his special chvivas, his special love, as a result of the Torah mitzvahs that we did. It's not the essence of what Mashiach is about. The miracles is not the essence. The miracles is something extra. When is it we merit them? So if we're Zochu, if we have a special merit, then it'll be Achishan, it'll be miracles right away. The Rebbe explains an amazing thing. There's really only one Seder here. There's only one order. What happens if the Gula comes in a way of Lei Zochu? So we don't have a special merit, and then Mashiach comes without the miracles right away. But then what's going to happen? Then we'll have Shleimus Torah mitzvahs, and then we'll fulfill all the Torah mitzvahs as they were meant to be from the original time of creation. And then what's going to happen? Then we'll be in a state of Zochu anyway. And then once we have the merit of all the Torah mitzvahs being fulfilled completely, so then the miracles come. The only question is, does it come right away, or does it come later on in two stages? So if we reach a sufficient level of merit with our Torah mitzvahs before the actual coming of Mashiach, then we go straight into the miracles. If we don't, then we'll have the opportunity to be Zochu, to have the special merit as a result of the transformation of the world through Mashiach, and we'll be able to keep Torah mitzvahs, and then we'll come the miracles. And from this comes something very profound. The Rebbe says, Ba'emek Yeser. The Rebbe doesn't say it in these words, but when you look at the Gemara, at first, there's Be'ita and there's Bachishena. It looks almost like a second-rate redemption. If we have a special merit, so then we'll have the real Geula people feel. Then we'll have all the miracles and everything will be taken literally. And that's the real thing. If not, no, Hashem promised he's bringing Mashiach, so leizachu, it'll be in a way of bita, and we won't have the miracles. The Rebbe says it's much deeper than that. The Rambam's explaining in Mishnah Torah what the essence of Mashiach is about. And it's not only the essence of Mashiach when it's leizachu. Even Mashiach comes in way of Zachu, the main thing is the fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs in this world. Even if Mashiach comes in a way of Zachu, it's coming in the merit of our Torah mitzvahs we did. That's the Zachu. There's no other Zachu, there's no other special Zachus, it's the Zachus of Torah mitzvahs. And then, even if the Geula comes in such a way that it comes right away with the miracles, it's not the miracles that are main thing about Mashiach. That's a sign of Hashem's love. That's what we enjoy. That's what we're looking forward to. But the main thing about Mashiach remains as it is in the Seder that the Rambam describes in Mishnah Torah, even though he doesn't speak about the Seder of Zachu in Mishnah Torah. And it could be that there'll be miracles right away when Mashiach comes. But even then, that's not the essence of what Mashiach is about. The essence of what Mashiach is about is complete observance of Torah mitzvahs. And only then does the will of Hashem in the creation of the world become manifest and completely fulfilled down here in the physical world. And therefore, in both scenarios, whether it's the leizachu scenario or the zochu scenario, it comes down to the same thing. Both of them, what's bringing the miracles? It's our complete devotion and fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs here in this world. It could be there'll be miracles at the same time too, but just because the miracle is happening doesn't mean that's the essence of what Mashiach is all about. And although it doesn't speak about this explicitly in the Dvar Malchus, I think it's worthwhile to mention the whole idea of the relevance of this to us. I heard once a discussion, somebody was saying, it used to be that the main thing was doing Torah mitzvahs ourselves and spreading to other people, doing the mifsoyim and putting tefillin on people and putting mezuzahs and beginning a Yiddish chinuch, and the main thing is Torah mitzvahs. Whereas today, the Rebbe said the main thing is Kabbalah's Panei Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Peil Mamish. So you have to do in Yonah Mashiach. It's Miftzah Mashiach. Now you have to talk about Mashiach. You have to learn Yonah Mashiach and Geula. And that's the main thing. And his friend answered him, yeah, but there's no new Torah. We still have to do the Mifsoyim. That just because you have to learn about Mashiach and do whatever you can to spread knowledge and increase our yearning for Mashiach, that doesn't mean you should forget about the Mifsoyim. Well, I think that when the Rebbe gave us the Dvar Malchus to learn, he explained the error in both of these approaches. It's not like it's two separate things. There's no new Torah. There's no new mitzvah. The new mitzvah is that one should understand that our Torah mitzvahs, that's the essence of the transformation of the world. That's the essence of what Mashiach is all about. Shortly after the beginning of this tkufa of Chav Ches Nisan, the Rebbe expressed himself once to say he's puzzled, but people don't know what to do. Maybe he hadn't Torah mitzvahs. So then what changed? You always have to add in Torah mitzvahs. But now we know that we're standing on the threshold of a Geula, and it's something which is about to happen. And every mitzvah we do and all the Torah we learn is making that transformation of the world in order that Mashiach should be revealed. And that is the true revelation of Hashem's desire in creating the world and making the Jewish people and giving us the Torah. That this Torah, with all of its mitzvahs, should be fulfilled down here, and that's the true essence of what Mashiach is all about. Even at the times of Tchias HaMesim, and even the times that all the miracles are surrounding us, nevertheless, the main essence of what Mashiach is all about is complete fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs.